why you feel so lost in life is because the version of yourself that you are trying to find no longer exists. I'm gonna leave that there. And welcome back to another video. If you don't know me, my name is Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I make self-development vlogs, lifestyle content. So if you're interested, be sure to give me a little subscribe. Just a little disclaimer as well, I am using different mics today, and new lighting. I've got a whole new setup, so if it's not very good quality, if the lighting, if the sound, if the audio isn't good quality, don't worry, fix it in the next video. Hello, this is editing version of Molly, and I just wanted to say that unfortunately the mics and the audio sounded so bad. So unfortunately, you guys are just gonna have to put up with the sound of the camera audio. But next video, it will definitely be getting fixed. So don't worry. But yeah, enjoy the video. So today I really wanted to talk about how we can sometimes really cling on to our past and how we can really cling on to the version of ourselves that no longer exists, and how this is blocking your creativity, blocking your manifestations, and blocking your blessings, quite frankly. I felt really cool to make this video actually because I was reflecting on this last night when I was having a little bit of a quote-unquote mental breakdown, really low moment. I was really upset about something, and I realized that I am lingering on to the version of myself that no longer exists. I'm lingering on to the version of myself, the habits of that person that no longer aligns with who I am and where I want to be. And I wonder why I feel this way. I wonder why I feel upset. I wonder why I feel like nothing's working out for me. Because I am still hanging on to something which no longer serves me and no longer aligns to me. And so if this really resonates with you, this video is most definitely for you, because I want to make this video as a way to show you that you are not alone in your struggles. You are not alone in feeling lost. You are lost because the version of yourself in which you are trying to find doesn't exist. The version of yourself which you are so desperately trying to cling onto for comfort and cling onto because that's all you've known doesn't exist anymore, and you need to let go. It's time to let go, and I believe 2026 is a perfect time to do that. Last night when I was having this supposed mental breakdown, if you want to call it, at the end of it I was journaling. I was looking down at the page that I was journaling on, and I was literally writing 2026 is not that year of self-pity. 2026 is not that year of clinging on to old habits and old patterns. 2026, when I think of the word 2026, I think of luxury. I think of becoming the best version of ourselves. And I know we say that every single year. And every single year we say new year, better me. Every single year we say New Year's resolutions and I'm gonna become that better version of myself. I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna start that business. We also sometimes forget that it's actually about letting go, which really matters. In the moments where you feel so lost and so low and like you have genuinely hit rock bottom, you feel so lost, like you don't know yourself anymore. You've lost yourself. You've lost yourself to your family, you've lost yourself to your kids, you've lost yourself to life and to expectations of society, or maybe you've lost yourself to the business that you're trying to create. View this time period as reinvention. You don't know who you are anymore because you have never experienced this phase of your life. You don't know who you are anymore because you've never been a mum before. You've never been a business owner before. You've never been conditioned to adhere to societal expectations like you have been now. You don't know who you are because you've never been in this period of life before. It's not about losing yourself, it's about losing the version of yourself who didn't have those things, and that is where you learn to embrace the season of your life that you're in. I think that with this, it comes with reclaiming your power, it comes with tapping into your blessings and unlocking your manifestations. And so last night when I was having this really dark time, basically long story short, a couple years ago I struggled with something in particular, which I'm not gonna say on the internet because do you know what I mean, you gotta keep some things private. I was struggling with something in particular, and there was a moment in time where I had felt this particular feeling or emotion very strongly, and it ate at me. I thought I'd healed from it, I thought I had overcome it over the last couple years, I thought that I had gotten past it, until last night I found myself in the exact same position I was in those couple of years ago. The reason as to why I felt so upset is because I thought to myself, why am I still fighting a battle which I thought I'd won all those years ago? Why has it come back to me now? And you know why it come back to me now? Because that is all I know. That is the one thing in which I know I can use to handle my emotions and my problems and the things that come into my head. It's not normal, and I'm not used to picking up a journal and writing in it. I'm not used to pressing meditate and meditating. I'm not used to those things, but that's the one thing I know, and that is the one thing I was used to. Therefore, it's very easy for me to fall back into those old habits and back into those old patterns when those old thoughts creep in. It just goes together hand in hand. It doesn't mean that I've lost in life. It doesn't mean that I'm a failure or I've gone back to square one. It highlights a problem. It highlights the fact that there's still something you are struggling with which you have haven't fully accepted and you haven't fully healed from, use this. Use this to go and do your healing. Use this and realize, okay, you know what, I do need help. It's okay to cry over things you thought you had healed from. However, lingering in those habits, lingering in those old emotions prevents you from moving forward. It prevents you from becoming the version of yourself which you really want to become. And I remember texting my friend and I said to her, you know what, I had an epiphany, because a couple years ago I wouldn't have spoken about it. I would have sat in my room and struggled in silence. No, I spoke up and I wanted just even someone to listen to me in this moment. And I texted my friend and I said, no, you know what? No, that was the old me. I don't resonate to that person anymore. Like, I am not that person. That's the old version of myself who struggles with this particular thing. This is not me. Like, I am not that person anymore. And that was so liberating. Does the version of myself who struggled with those habits line up to the version of myself now? Absolutely not. Like, it genuinely doesn't. The thing that I was struggling with doesn't align to the visions I have on my vision board. It doesn't align to the life I am living now. Align to my career, align to my friendships, align to every single aspect of my life. It doesn't line up. I have moved on from that struggle, but I haven't moved on from the habit of it. The best and the biggest way in which you can really overcome this is, first of all, by realizing that when things do creep into your life, when old habits, when old thought patterns, when old coping mechanisms creep into your life, and you realize, why am I feeling this way? This doesn't fit in my life anymore. It's because it doesn't fit in your life anymore. That realization is so powerful, because that realization is what is going to get you from being in that mindset to being in a healing mindset. This is why I wrote in my journal, this year is not about me struggling with the same I struggled with 2 or 3 years ago. It's me acknowledging the fact that no, I'm better than that now. I'm different, I'm healed, I moved on. I have learned so much in those 3 years. I have done so much. I have started businesses, I have started content creation, I have improved my confidence, that therefore that version of myself doesn't align to me now. That is how you move on. When you are constantly clinging on to the old habits and the old version of yourself, you are never going to become the best version of yourself, because the old version of yourself wasn't focused and wasn't concerned with becoming the best version of yourself. Old version of yourself was concerned with survival, concerned with the problem that they were facing, whereas now you have got the mindset. And if you're watching my video, it's pretty obvious you want to become the best version of yourself. The version of yourself now doesn't want the same things as that version of yourself, and it will hinder and block your manifestation, because you have something clogging your consciousness. In order for you to manifest, you have to have a clear conscious. You know this Ariana Grande song where it's like, can't just clear, that's why I'm so magnetic, manifested. It's true. Having a clogged conscious makes you not magnetic. The best way I can describe it, are you going to be more attracted a really beautiful diamond which is sparkly and clear, so breathtakingly wow, or are you going to be attracted to the diamond that is literally like covered in shit? Probably the first one, unless you're into antiques, because the first one doesn't have stuff on it. It's not gone rusty. That is how manifestation works. When you have a clear conscience and you have worked and healed through things. I'm not saying that you can't manifest if you haven't. Of course you can. Everyone's got things they still haven't worked through, because we're always experiencing life. New things are always constantly happening to us. It's the mindset you have. If you had the mindset of, you know what, I do struggle with these things that my old version struggled with, but I'm gonna use this to go and heal myself. I'm gonna go and use this to work on myself. You start saying, I deserve goodness, I deserve to heal. That is when they start coming to you. They don't come to you if you're stuck in victim mentality. The world just hates me, the universe is so against me. You're not gonna get anything good out of it. And even in science, right? Even in science, there's a thing in your brain called the RAS, which is a reticular activating system. This is basically a bunch of neurons in your brain that basically acts is like a filter for information based off of what you decide to be most important. Basically meaning, yeah, that you actively search for things. You actively look for things that you deem to find important. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to manifest a red car. I want a brand new red car. Naturally, my brain is going to search for red cars. So the more red cars I'm gonna see, because it is what I actively search for, the more you search for them, the more you'll see them, because it's just the way your brain works, because your brain filters through things that you just want to see. And the same works the other way around. So if I'm hyper focused on something negative in my life, in my past, naturally my brain is going to look for reasons to use a coping mechanism for that problem, because it's what you know, it's what you're used to. And because it's what you're used to, your brain's going to naturally try and find a way. It's just science. Also, our brain loves predictability. Our brain loves things which are predictable, because it is a survival mechanism. Your brain's job is to keep you alive. It is not to evolve. It's not to become the best version of ourselves. Hence why doing it is hard. It has a massive reward, but it is hard because we're not supposed to, by evolution, by design, try and become the best version of ourselves. We're not supposed to break out of old habits. We're not supposed to heal from traumas and heal from things which we are so familiar with and so used to because it's predictable, because it's a survival mechanism. Having familiar habits literally means less mental energy. And because our old routines and our old habits are literally stuck as neural pathways, it makes it even harder. And I've talked a lot about this in previous videos about neural pathways, but I want to talk about it even more because I am so fascinated by it. If you imagine like literally a path, and the more you think something, the stronger the path gets. It's like the more you walk over a particular part of a field, the more stamped down the grass gets. And the more stamped down the grass gets, the more a path it becomes. And then you start laying down the bricks and it becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. That's neuron plasticity. And because it's predictable, because we already have that automatic neural pathways, it makes leaning into those old habits easier and more familiar. Also, our habits live in a place in our brain called the basal ganglia. And basically it means that once you have formed a habit, your brain performs it on autopilot. Your brain naturally just does it because it is stored in your brain. Like, you know how to do it. Same as we know how to walk because it's a habit that's stored in us. We know how to eat our food and tie up our shoelaces because it's something that we have learned. Done it so frequently, it's stored in our brain just does it naturally. So even if you create a new habit, even if you create a new way of thinking, which is basically the point of my video, for example, me, I no longer resonate to the version of myself who struggled with those things or had that specific coping mechanism. I'm not that person anymore. I found other ways. But because it is still there, because the habit doesn't get deleted out of your brain, it just gets overwritten. It means that under stress, under exhaustion, under fatigue, your brain just pulls them out and is like, this is what you're used to, this is what you know, this is what's predictable, this is what you're familiar with, use this. But of course, we have created new habits, we have created new thinking patterns, but because those are stronger and more familiar, you're more likely to dip and delve into those. Something I realized very early on, which I actually talked about previously in a TikTok, which I'll leave here, is that you have to lose yourself to find yourself. And it is one of those things that when you realize this, your life will be changed. Because when you feel lost, when you feel at the lowest part of your life, when you feel like you have genuinely lost yourself and all the pieces of the puzzle are scattered, all the pieces of the puzzle are nowhere to be seen, that is when you are actually building the foundation. Like I said at the beginning of the video, and I feel like I didn't really get to touch on this as much as I wanted to, but basically what I was trying to say earlier on about when you feel lost in different areas of your life, you feel lost because of a job, or you feel lost because you've started a new business, you have lost yourself, it's because you are literally building the foundation of a new version of yourself. You are building the foundation of someone of yourself which you don't quite recognize yet because you haven't been in that position yet. And so it's really not about finding yourself again. It's not about finding your old hobbies and your old things again. It's not doing that. It's about living in your authenticity now. It's about doing what you enjoy now. It's about doing things that you enjoy in this moment of your life, because the old version of yourself had different habits, different coping mechanisms, different ways of living that you don't have now. You can't try and emulate somebody who doesn't exist anymore. You have to emulate the version of yourself which does exist, and emulate the version of yourself who you are becoming. That is the only way you are ever going to quantum leap. That's the only way you are ever going to manifest, and that's the only way you are ever going to get rid of that version of yourself. You are trying to dig into the old version of yourself, dig into that part of your life which no longer serves you, dig into that version of yourself who doesn't exist anymore. You are never gonna evolve and you are never gonna grow. That is what you have to realize. And so again, your final message of this video is that if you feel lost, if you feel like all odds are against you, if you feel as though, why have I gone back to old patterns? Why have I gone back to old thinking ways and old coping mechanisms? It's because your brain is wired to do that. It's because it is predictable, it's familiar, it's what you know. You are wired to do that, and because you are still touching into that part of your life, because you have still got one foot in, because you feel lost, when really and truly what you need to do is to think, you know what, I am not that version of myself anymore. I am not that person. I don't have those coping mechanisms anymore. I don't have those habits anymore. It is not me. I am this person. I am starting a business. I'm thinking in a different way. I'm journaling now. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. These are all the things that I'm doing for myself. These are all the things that life is offering me. I've got so much going for me. Why go back to her? Why go back to that version of myself when it is quite obvious the only way you ever grow is by going forward? And that brings us to the end of the video. I could literally yap about this for hours and hours. Originally I was going to make today's video about 2026 and why you don't have to have it all together, but I really think this was meant to be. I really think I was meant to have those thoughts last last night to be able to help somebody today. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Please let me know one thing which you've taken away from it, and also let me know one piece of self-development advice that you have that you'd love to give other people so we can all help out each other. Bye!